But I think in the world today, a lot of business has changed. And I'll be honest with you, I actually think we're entering a brand new stage of how money is generated. And I think that all of the old models of how money is generated are going to fall to the wayside pretty quickly.
Such as?
I even think social media is going to have to change. And I'm going to say this here in case I'm totally wrong, and maybe I'll look like a fool, or maybe I'll look like a genius. But up until this point, social media and all these large companies have made money by stealing your information and understanding how you act and operate by spying on you and then selling advertising. And I feel like the advertising model is even starting to die. I feel like people who are most successful now using social media are doing it by garnering attention virally. So they're getting free advertising effectively.
Right.
And the old model of just pure advertising campaigns doesn't work anymore. And as AI comes into play and as video content can be created from anywhere, as people decide to create their own realities and their own video games and their own movies they want to watch as opposed to watching anyone else's, I don't know if anyone's going to be sitting there consuming these adverts like before or even responding to them. I don't know who even responds to adverts on Google or YouTube or any of these things anymore like they used to. I just think the whole advertising model as a whole is going to fall. And they're going to have to find a brand new way to monetize. I do believe it's an attention economy we live in. I think you need to garner attention and find a way to monetize it off the back of it. But I don't think that the traditional advertising model of these social media companies is going to continue for a very long time. I think it's starting to fail. And the reason I say that is I know a lot of people who run advertising campaigns now on Google and YouTube and these things. And the returns they talk about compared to somebody who lives true to themselves and has attention garnered via virality are minuscule. And I don't think that the advertising model is going to continue to work for a very long time. To make money in the world today, you need to prove brutal competence and you need to find a USP, which has always been the case. You need to find a way to garner attention, which has always been the case. I feel like...
When you say USP, you mean unique selling proposition?
You need a USP, yeah, you need a unique selling proposition. But we're entering a very interesting stage, and the reason I'm talking about this specifically is inside of my school, Hustles University, we teach artificial intelligence, and I think AI is going to come and wreck the majority of people in the next 10 to 15 years, maximum, maybe even 3 to 4 years if you're not implementing it in your business now. Crypto was a disruptive industry, and crypto was a play where if you believed in cryptocurrency early enough, you could have become monumentally wealthy. But I think the proposition of believing in cryptocurrency would have been a hard leap for most people to make. If you talked about Bitcoin early on, it would have been like, okay, internet magic money that's outside of the banks and it's going to go up and I'm going to make money. That's hard to believe.
Yeah. There's no mental reference for it.
There's no mental reference. However, AI is a much easier jump. I think most people at home understand that AI is coming here and it's going to be here to stay and it's going to change every single facet of how our world operates.
Right.
And you'd be a fool to not believe those things. So you need to be in AI early like people got into crypto early. Crypto is a hard decision to make because it's a hard jump to make, but AI is an easy jump. And anyone who's not trying to build AI into their business right now, whether they're a plumber, whether they're a barista, you can name anything. There has to be a way to get artificial intelligence involved in the company you're currently running and learn how artificial intelligence works, because I think that's going to be the future of the people who truly make it and those who don't. And the reason is because they talk about removing the link between your time and your money, because if they're linked, you're going to run out of time and you're never going to be able to get rich if you sell your time for money.
Right.
But the machines never sleep. And I'm already testing a whole bunch of theories and methods which allow us to use artificial intelligence to make a lot more money than we currently do. But I can give you endless examples of it. I'll give you a very simple example. Let me give you a hypothetical, because I don't want to give away too many of my secrets. I have to be careful what I say. Let's imagine right now I had a sales team. And I had a sales team of 10 men. I would try to build my own version of ChatGPT or my own chatbot, or I'd be trying to make sure that the artificial intelligence mind knows what it needs to know to answer questions, and I would compare it against my lowest salesman, my worst salesman, and see how it does. Because firstly, it's free, effectively. Secondly, it never needs to sleep and never needs holiday pay. And let's say it's only half as effective as my worst salesman. That's fine if you can feed it double the leads. If you can find leads now at low enough cost, you can make more money from a free machine than you can your lowest performing person.
And deal with the logistical complexity of management. Yeah.
Absolutely. So is that worth a try? Yes, because across the next 2 to 3 years, that machine is going to get better exponentially. Is the person who has been working for you for 10 years and is still your lowest salesman ever going to truly get better? Probably not. And I think getting in early and being involved in this disruptive industry at a point now where it's not mainstream is going to be the difference between the companies that survive into the future and those that don't. Because just like Bitcoin, when everybody starts doing it, a lot of the opportunity is going to disappear. And I think that it doesn't matter what industry you're thinking of getting involved in now or what you're thinking of doing, you should be looking at how you can use AI right now to make as much money as possible. And that's the advice I'm giving to people. And that's what we're teaching inside of our school as well in Hustlers University. Every single campus, we have a specific campus around artificial intelligence, which we teach. And every other campus, all the other money-making methods, we also teach how to integrate AI with them. Because I think the future is actually going to be people who can't make any money at all, and then people who know how to make the machines make money for them. That's where I think we're going to end up. Perhaps that's the future I'm betting on. And if I'm wrong, I've already got enough money, so we'll see. It's credibility, which is one of the most important things. It's authenticity, which is one of the most important things. It comes with a lot of heat and a lot of smoke, which I don't think many people are prepared for. And it depends what you're selling. I mean, a personal brand is exactly that, a personal brand. If you have a company, then your company has a brand ethos. So you have to, what's the point of a brand in the first place? The point of a brand in the first place is credibility and relatability and authenticity.
And trust.
And trust. So it has to be done at some regard, at some level. You can decide if you want to hide behind a company to protect your personal life, or if you can be the face of your company yourself and suffer. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. Your personal life suffers when you're a personal brand.
True.
But
especially when you're Andrew Tate.
Well, yeah, in my particular case. But then also there's been massive and monumental benefits. There are some good things about it.
Right.
So it depends what you want to do and what industry you want to get involved in. A lot of people ask me about personal branding and come and say, should I do a personal brand? And I'd often argue that it doesn't matter if you should or not. Firstly, can you? Can you do a personal brand?
And what are you reverse engineering or what are you optimizing for? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, can you do a personal brand? What about you as a person is going to get people vested in you? And if you actually go down the rabbit hole and analyze it, you're going to realize that unless you've suffered and had a difficult life and have a bunch of interesting stories and war stories and all the things we're talking about, all the bad things, you're going to suffer to build a personal brand anyway. If you're born into a rich family and your life goes well and everything's fine and now you have a bunch of money and you try and start a personal brand based on the fact that you have money, nobody's going to care. Nobody's interested in all the good things that have happened to you, and nobody's interested in how nice your life is. Nobody cares. Maybe if you show enough money, you can get some temporary interest, but not for long. The only people who can build a brand off having a perfect life are women. Look, I'm beautiful. Look, I'm in Louis Vuitton. Look, I'm skiing. Chicks can do that because they're physically attractive. Men can't. All the men you can name with truly strong personal brands have very interesting stories, and interesting stories usually involve danger, risk, pain, suffering. Those are the things.
Triumph over.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So if you say, oh, should I build a personal brand? Well, can you? And if you can, then perhaps you should consider it. But if you can't, then you have to sit and say, well, how could I? And the only way you could is to suffer. Are you prepared to suffer in the real world, not on the internet, not pretending to suffer on Twitter? Are you prepared to suffer in the real world, the genuine consequence and the genuine risk that it's going to take for you to be interesting enough for people to sit and want to listen to you, for you to have a strong personal brand? That's the actual question.
True.
When people say about personal branding. Because Batman's personal brand is kicking everyone's ass, and he only did that because his parents got killed. So you have to decide, do you want to have would you choose to have your parents killed to be Batman? At that level. So, because I think a lot of personal branding, especially at the beginning of personal branding, you could buy a fast car and that was it. You could rent a car and talk some shit. But everyone's bored of that now.
Right.
I kind of feel like I've raised the bar and kind of ruined it for everyone. It's kind of
1,000,000%.
It's kind of hard now to be interesting. To yeah, but did they throw you in a dungeon in Romania? No, boring. Boring.
Do you have a Bugatti? 59 cars.
I kind of ruined it. Yeah, do the Bugatti. Lambo broke.
Yeah.
No, but both suffer and tell people all the lessons you learned along the way, and people will respect you knowing that you've been through something which is difficult. Respect has always lied on the other side of fear. It still does right now. The reason we all watch the big boxing match and have so much respect for the men who get in there is because it's scary to do. And even if you don't cerebrally sit and think, I would be scared to fight in Madison Square Gardens in front of all these people, well then go sign up for a fight and you'll learn very quickly that you are scared, because now you've even just started training for it. You're nowhere near the event and you're nervous all the time and you don't want to do it because it's terrifying. Respect lies on the other side of fear. So people are going to respect you if you do things that they'd be scared to do themselves.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say, well, I don't want to go through that because that sounds scary. That sounds terrible. Let me at least try and get the lessons from it. And he's going through it so I can learn from his experience, or I can learn from his mistake. I think as AI, we're talking about them replacing salesmen. Well, AI could replace a lot of personal brands too now. ChatGPT is pretty good. Some people are so basic and so vaporous and so thin that ChatGPT could talk the same kind of garbage they talk. Unless you have some suffering to anchor to, how can you have any kind of personal brand at all?
Yeah,
and maybe I'm just talking from my own experience because my brand is built on pain and suffering, and maybe I'm trying to cope my way for having all the bad things happen to me that have happened to me. But if I didn't have them all, I don't know what I'd talk about.
Would people listen? Would people care?
But what would I talk about? I have a fast car? Okay, I have a fast car. But the coolest thing about me having a fast car is that I grew up with absolutely nothing. The coolest thing about me having a fast car is that they tried to take it off me and threw me in a dungeon. The coolest thing about me having a fast car is when I'm gonna get back in it after they failed to seize it off me when I was on an Interpol red notice for garbage. That's the cool part of it.
Yeah.
Without the dark, there's no light.